Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with Keep Inking Up. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in San Antonio, Texas. And today I'm going to show you how to make a cute little party favor. And I'm going to use two different sizes, two different dimensions of pieces of designer series paper. I have one piece that is cut 4 inches by 4 inches and one that is cut 3 inches by 4 inches. And the point of all this is to show you that you can make this party favor out of any size square piece of designer series paper or cardstock, or any rectangle piece. It doesn't matter. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you some other examples where I use different dimension pieces. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use these two to show you the basics of the party favor. So I'm going to put the square piece aside and I'm going to begin with the rectangular piece. Again, this is 3 inches by 4 inches. And before I begin, I'm going to try to break the fibers of the paper using my bone folder and just curl it a little bit. And what I'm trying to do is I want to form a toilet paper roll. So I'm just bending it enough so I can make a little roll out of it. And then I'm going to take some, you know what, while I'm here, let's go ahead and do the same thing with the square piece. Because we need to do the same for both pieces. So again, I'm just trying to curl it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to bend a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to the tear and tape. I'm going to put tear and tape on the short side of the rectangular piece and on one of the long sides. You could put it on both of the long sides and you'll see what I mean when I'm putting it together, but I like to just do one side. I'm going to burnish the tear and tape really well into the paper. Then I'm going to remove the tear and tape from the short side, and I'm going to roll up into a little tube. Now, because it's tear and tape, you really only have one chance, so just take your time, line it up as best as you can, and stick it down. I'm a little off, but I think that's just fine. And I'm going to really press with my fingers. It's a little bit easier with smaller pieces of designer series paper. By the way, this designer series paper is from the Magnolia Lane paper in our annual catalog. It's so pretty with the beautiful magnolias. Really reminds me of spring. Okay, so I have that tube ready to go. So now I can remove the piece inside. This is a little harder because when it's smaller. I'm going to grab just the paper, not the whole tape. Can't seem to grab it. There we go. Pull off the backing, and then I'm going to pinch it closed. Now you'll see here the seam is right here, and I don't want the seam dead center. I'm going to put it off to one side. Doesn't matter which side. I just like to have it off to one side, and then I'll press that closed. And this is creating the bottom of our little treat pouch. Then I'm going to take the other side and press it in the opposite direction. Here's that seam. I'm going to press it in the opposite direction. Now before you close it up, you would of course put your treats in here. This is really small, so you can put really small treats in. And then I'm going to take my crocodile. You can use any hole punch, and I'm going to punch in 2 holes. And this is going to close up your party favor. So I've got 2 holes in there. Doesn't matter how far apart they are or anything. And then I'm going to take our crinkled seam binding ribbon in the white, which is in our current January to June mini catalog. And the seam is there on the back, so I'm going to thread the seam binding through the hole, come around the back, thread it through back to the front. And cut off a little bit of this ribbon and tie it into a bow. I like this ribbon because it makes really cute floppy bows. I like floppy bows. Oops, it looks like I didn't cut very much ribbon for a bow. Let's try this again. Eesh. Okay, well, it'll be a little bit smaller than maybe I would like, but there's the sweet little bow, and then we'll just trim off the ends. And there is a cute, cute little party favor. Isn't that adorable? It's so tiny. But this is this is the rectangular piece of Designer Series paper. So let's go back to the square piece that we had. I've already broken the fibers. Let's go ahead and smooth that out maybe a little bit. And now again, I'm going to put tear and tape on two sides. I'm going to put on one that I've got it rolling in the direction to create the toilet paper roll. And I'll put it on one other side. Now, if you wanted it to glue both sides shut, you could. You could have put the tear and tape on the top part too, and to seal that tight. But then, in order to open it, they would have to rip it open. This way, they can just untie the ribbon and open it, and they can get into their treats just fine. But it's up to you. I like to put it just on one side. Again, I'm going to burnish the tape in. Then I'm going to pull off the tape. And I'm going to roll it up. Again, just take your time. There we've got our tube. I'm going to press with my fingers as best as I can to keep that closed. And then we'll try to tear off this paper again on the inside. Just the paper, not the... It would help if I had fingernails. Here we go. Okay. And again, I'm going to keep the seam to one side, and I'm going to press that closed. This is a much longer tube. I don't know if you can tell. This is the 4x4, and this is the 3" by 4". No, this is the 3" by 4". This is the 4x4. And then I will close the top just like the other one. I'm going to pinch it. And now I'm going to punch some holes again. Just 2 holes apart, doesn't matter exactly how far or anything. And the ribbon will disguise it if they're a little bit crooked. So again, I'll take my ribbon, put the seam in the back, thread the ribbon through the hole, maybe. There we go. Thread through the other hole to the front. Make sure I've got enough ribbon this time. And I'm going to tie it into a bow. Now actually, before I finish tying this into a bow, I wanted to go ahead and add a little tag just to dress it up a little bit. I made this tag using the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. Here's the little magnolia bud to go with the Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper that we used, and I colored with my Petal Pink Stampin' Blends, as well as the Mossy Meadow and the Bronze Blends, again to coordinate with the Designer Series paper. So I'm going to slip this tag on here. I can grab the ribbon. There we go. And I'll tie this again, and then I'll tie another bow. Well, let's try this again. I tend to do better if I start tying my bows with my right hand. I don't know why that is. Yeah, see, that turned out better. So if you're struggling, maybe try with the other hand. So there's a nice little floppy bow. So again, I'll trim off the ends to clean them up a little bit. And there is a cute little party favor. So I don't know if you can tell really well that the square piece, when I started out with that, it comes out with a longer and narrower party favor, whereas the rectangular piece comes out with a cute little squatty party favor. So like I said, I wanted to share some other sizes that I made earlier. This one uses a 4x6 piece of designer series paper in a different pattern from the same pattern pack. And then this long one is a 6x6. So 4x6, 6x6. And so you can see that the square designer series paper ends up with a longer and narrower party favor, and the rectangle piece ends up with a squattier party favor. These are called actually sour cream containers. Apparently in times gone by, apparently sour cream was offered in containers that looked similar to this. Apparently that was a little bit before my time because I don't recall that, but that is what these containers are called. So, and you can see all kinds of tutorials about this. This is not something that I made up for sure, but it's called a sour cream container. But aren't those cute? I just love these little ones. They don't hold very much candy, but sometimes just a little sweet treat is just all you need. And then just maybe add a little tag to dress it up and to give it. Oh, by the way, this For You came from the Well Said stamp set. I use this set all the time. It has so many sentiments on it, and it's a double set. I actually store mine in the same CD case. So anyway, I just wanted to share that cute little party favor with you today. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.